friends, I'm Sharon McNamara, the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate and one of the hosts of Talk Real Estate Roundtable that airs every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. on WATD 95.9 FM. If you missed last week's radio show, I broke down everything you need to know about real estate agency in the state of Massachusetts. So whether you're buying a home or you're selling a home, knowing who's representing who is absolutely everything. So let's dive into the top 10 tips in this week's Talk Real Estate Recap Reel. So here's tip number 1. Always ask for and review the mandatory licensing consumer relationship disclosure at your very first meeting about a specific property. This is a state of Massachusetts law and requirement. It's your right to know who the agent represents from the start of your home buying or home selling journey. Keep in mind, this is a disclosure. It's not a contract, so you don't have to be concerned about being tied to that one agent by simply signing this disclosure. Tip number 2. If you're not sure who your agent actually represents, it could cost you, especially when it comes to negotiating. Clarify your agent's role up front. Are they representing you? Are they representing the seller? Are they representing both or neither? It's important to not assume. Get it in writing so you know who is in your corner and who is actually looking out for you and who has your best interests in mind. This is tip number 3. If you don't have your own agent, you're an unrepresented buyer. That means that the listing agent represents the seller and the seller only, and no one is legally obligated to protect you and your interests. That's why we always think it is a really good idea for you to have a buyer agency agreement, exclusive usually, with one agent. That person now has a fiduciary responsibility to you and solely you. So again, if you go directly to the seller's agent, keep in mind that seller's agent represents the seller and not you. All right, here we go. This is tip number 4. If you're working with a buyer's agent, you must tell the seller's agent before seeing the home. Failing to do this could interfere with your agent's ability to represent you throughout the transaction and may affect some of the commission agreements that you have signed with them with the exclusive buyer agency agreement. Everybody wants to be able to get you into the home. Just making sure that you do it in the proper steps and making sure that your agent is always there with you is imperative to this process. So make sure you always have your agent with you when you're going to view a home. Tip number 5, respect your exclusive buyer agency contract. You've committed to working with that agent and solely with that agent, so make sure that you communicate openly and include them in every part of the process, every step of the way. They're there to protect you. Your fiduciary responsibility belongs to them, so make sure you include them in every part of this process. It's going to make a more smooth transaction for you at the end of the day. This is tip number 6. Who actually pays your buyer's agent? Since the NAR settlement in 2024, buyer's agents are now paid directly by the buyer. This can be handled as part of your offer where you ask the seller to contribute, or you can pay your agent directly. Either way, this should be discussed and agreed upon early. Tip 7. If you are a buyer, don't wait until the very last minute to have this conversation. Have a compensation conversation up front. Know what you're expected to pay your agent, how it can be structured, and make sure it's in writing to avoid any type of confusion later. Generally, you will sign an exclusive buyer agency agreement that will have all of the details of this compensation clearly laid out. Do yourself a favor. Don't wait until the very last minute to have this conversation. Don't wait until you're putting in an offer on a property and now you're trying to figure out negotiating to get the home that you want, as well as figuring out how you're going to pay your buyer's agent. So make sure you have that conversation up front and early. So here's tip number 8. Going directly to the listing agent may feel easier, but it comes with trade-offs. The pros: simplicity and possibly quicker access into the home. But the cons, these are important. No one is there to solely represent and advocate for you. The listing agent's fiduciary responsibility and duty is to the seller, unless of course there's dual agency. But dual agency comes with its own complications, and we'll talk about that in another segment. Tip number 9, never assume representation. Just because someone unlocks a door or writes up an offer doesn't mean they represent you. Agency must be agreed upon and documented, and have it documented and agreed upon right from the start. before you see that property, before you go into an open house. Make sure that you know who's representing you. All right, we've made it to the end. Here is tip number 10. Keep all your documentation. Save copies of disclosures, agency agreements, email threads, and texts. Anything that outlines your relationship with your real estate agent and their responsibilities. It's your paper trail of protection. And through this process, that's what you want. It's your right as a consumer in the state of Massachusetts to know what and who is protecting you and who has your fiduciary responsibility in mind at all times. Okay, so that's a wrap, and that's your Talk Real Estate recap for this week. If you have any questions about agency or representation in the state of Massachusetts, feel free to DM me anytime. I'm here to help. You can also text me at 781-294-4848. Don't forget to like and share if you found this information to be helpful. I'll see you next time.